Shalom, everybody. Rabbi Edelstein here with this week's installment, or edition, or maybe special mission of Rabbi Ian 3, brought to you as always by MEOR DC. Why is it a special mission? We'll get to that. But the topic I want to talk about, both in the Parsha and beyond, is looking down from above, the view from on top of the mountain. In our lives, that's often a revelatory moment, a striking moment, a beautiful and inspiring, mystical moment sometimes. You're at the top of a mountain and you see the valley below, or more metaphorically in your own life sometimes when you're able to detach, mentally and just look at yourself in a moment of time, so to speak. Maybe Shabbos. Shabbos is actually kind of a view from above always. And that moment can be startling. It can awaken us to the beauty, the mystery, the grandeur, many things, or possibly the opposite. But the view from above is very useful. And that's true not only as individuals, but as the Jewish people. The Torah portion is Balak, towards the very end of the book of Bamidbar, Numbers, and Bilam is a prophet among the nations who has a gift of prophecy, but he is a very unholy person, and he's hired by the Moabite king Balak to come and curse the Jewish people, to inject negative spiritual energy into them, and he has a good track record back in the day of being able to inflict spiritual damage, and he's an enchanter, a sorcerer, a soothsayer, and a big lowlife, okay? And it's an important Torah portion because, for many reasons, but basically, though Balak hires Bilam to curse the Jewish people, and though Bilam wholeheartedly wants to curse the Jewish people, Hashem does not let him curse the Jewish people, and instead of curses coming out, some of the most beautiful blessings in the Torah regarding the Jewish people come out of the unholy mouth of Bilam. And the scene is Balak is showing the encampment of the Jewish people to Bilam from different vantage points as the Jewish people are encamped in the desert below, and hoping that he, with his evil eye, and his black magic powers, mess up the Jewish people spiritually. But we get, like I said, beautiful blessings, the view from above. Bilam's words, one verse, who can number the dust of Jacob? And Rashi explains, the rabbis tell us, he was alluding to the power of the commandments of the Torah to elevate even the dust of the earth. There's so many commandments that deal with agricultural laws. So Bilam was seeing spiritually the greatness of the Jewish people. The most famous verse, he said, Ma tovu ohalecha Yaakov, how good are your tents, O Jacob, your dwelling places. We say that every morning in our prayer service. And it refers to, our rabbis explain, the propriety and the privacy and sanctity of the Jewish homes as Bilam saw them, not just the tent formations, but in a deeper way, the modesty of the Jewish homes and the beauty of the temple, the future temples and the study halls of the Jewish people, those being the tents of the Jewish people. The view from above, Bilam saw into, against his will, the greatness of the Jewish people. Sometimes when we can look above, we can see into our own greatness. And 50 years ago tomorrow was the anniversary of the moon landing and Neil Armstrong walking on the moon. But several months before that, in December, was Apollo 8. And Apollo 8 was remarkable, the first mission that had left the Earth's orbit, and it orbited the moon, and it took what was an astonishing and earth-changing picture. You can't see it so well there. Bill Anders, one of the astronauts, called it Earthrise. And I've been reading that. And it was the first time humanity saw the Earth from afar. And it was startling. It's a beautiful book. I'm going over 3 minutes, but it's for a special anniversary, a special mission. The mission of a lifetime, lessons from the men who went to the moon. And they describe what they saw, Apollo 8, when they saw this. As Bill Anders said, we trained for everything except for Earthrise, which really caught my attention and basically changed my life. They saw in the blackness and emptiness and colorless atmosphere of space, which had its own lonely, mysterious grandeur, but they saw the beautiful globe, the earth, colorful and vital and life, and it was remarkable. It was truly a religious experience for some of them. They talked about, and this is a wonderful book to read with many lessons, not all of the astronauts in Apollo 8 or other missions became more spiritual and religious. Most did in some way or other. I didn't know this. I was too young. I was a child at the time. But what did they read on December 24th, 1968? And this is 7 months before Apollo 11, the 50th anniversary of which is tomorrow. But what did they read? You might know this, some of you out there. But the astronauts on their own, led by Bill Anders, who took that picture of Earthrise, read the following. Here's what they said. We are now approaching the lunar sunrise. And for all the people back on Earth, the crew of Apollo 8 has a message that we would like to send to you. In the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth. And the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep. And the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the waters, and God said, let there be light. And there was light. And God saw the light and that it was good, and God divided the light from the darkness. No one back in Mission Control knew that they would read from Bereshit, the opening words of the Torah. And it must have been an incredible moment for everyone, the millions of people tuning in, for the astronauts themselves. They said they were awestruck at the beauty of the earth as it rose, our home. They had a sense of the oneness of humanity, something the Torah teaches and is meant to remind us all the time. So the view from above, whether it's of ourselves, how great we are. We're small in size, one small step for a man, but what is it? A great leap for mankind. Every one of us is small physically, perhaps. I'm not the biggest guy, but huge spiritually. The Jewish people, smallish in numbers, huge in its spiritual impact. And Bilam, the evil Bilam, saw that looking from above. We should see our greatness occasionally on Shabbos, perhaps looking from above. And those astronauts, Apollo 8 and later Apollo 11, saw something remarkable, magnificent, unbelievable as they looked down from above. Have a wonderful Shabbos, a Shabbos of the big picture of looking from above and seeing the beauty. Good Shabbos.